Jerky's Machine, most entertaining channel you've ever seen. He's always making lots of interesting scenes for you to watch on YouTube.
Folks, this is it. This is what we've all been waiting for. Craig pulled a fast one throughout the week and completed all the wiring and assembly that remained. That's right. All that's left to do is to put the tubes in and do a bit of testing. We've got to be mindful of the neighbors this early though, so first Craig takes care of a couple of chores on his own amp, the EMB Mark II. With all the work he's put in flipping my JTM30, he wants to make sure the Mark II matches up to the original EMB as much as possible. Then, of course, we let loose with some tone testing with my new amp, the EMB Mark III Sharky.
That shouldn't go to ground. Obviously that's supposed to go to ground, but I did go through and test and make sure that all the high voltage stuff, none of it goes to ground. So that does, because that's connected to this. So everything that's supposed to go to ground goes to ground, and everything that's not doesn't. Hold my breath as far as the effects loop, because I have no idea. I've never messed around with one of those things before, so the bolt and nut that came with this thing was a little bit too short for the heatsink, and found this longer one. But what I was worried about, instead of using Loctite or something like that, which will release under heat, and this sucker is going to get hot, and I don't want this falling apart. You know, when you're playing, all of a sudden it's gonna like be waggling around in there. No, the heat shrink tubing. So I just slipped that over the threads, and then took my blow dryer and heated that up, and it sucked in to the threads. So that's on there really good. This is not the thing that you want to come loose. I mean, of course we don't want anything to come loose, but that would be the last thing that we would want to come loose. Yeah, probably like 450, close to 500 volts on that thing. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm really happy with how everything kind of fit together. I had my doubts for sure. Am I going to be able to fit all of this in here? But it really is nice and compact. Everything goes right in there. Best. Everything checks out fine. I did fire up my air compressor last night and blew everything out, so we don't have any little fuzzy wire stuff rolling around inside. Really? Okay, so I've got the effects loop turned on right now, so let's turn that off, and then we'll worry about. Let's see, I need the 16 ohm tap. Anything here? Now let's dial this down. No smoke.
Yeah,
That's good.
that is good.
I don't hear anything. Oh, yes I do. There we go, dude.
That's a.
Yes. We have ignition.
Listen to this. Listen how quiet that is.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more. That's gonna be like crazy with the guitar and plugged into it. So that's pretty quiet. I like it. All right, so let me get an idea where we are on voltage, because this right here, the effects loop, is what I was concerned about, sucking the voltage down. And it wasn't until I had most of it built that I started reading about, well, you might have to mess around with the power stage dropping resistor to keep everything the way that it would have been without the effects loop in there. Okay, so this is going to probably make a little bit of a pop when I do this. 203 volts, perfect. Now it's going to make a pop. 128 volts is your plate volts on your first preamp tube. So that's just about right. All right, so we're like 7 volts off from the original, which is was sitting at 134. So what did I have? I had
128, I think.
Oh, okay, so not that far off at all. 128. So we're on. Oh, we're just sitting just right there, dude. Perfect. All right, so let's turn this off right now. With the paddle pulled up this way, it's bypassed. So it basically comes out this wire, goes through the switch, and then comes back to here, which would have been just a straight wire instead of a loop.
Yeah.
And then when it's in the center, everything's turned off. So you won't get any signal at all if that's in the middle. And then push down is the effects loop on. If it's in the middle, it's not going to. It's going to basically just cut off the preamp. So push
sense.
down is with the effects loop on. I wonder if the effects loop colors the sound at all.
Oh yeah, steals a bit of tone,
I
perhaps.
don't know. I have no idea because I've never used one of these things before. So let's turn it back on, see what we get. Yeah, I just want to make sure because it should have been drawing all the same current because it's still turned on. It's just that it's bypassed the same amount of current that it would with it turned off. At least it should. So let's see what we get here. Wow, that's strange.
Gave you an extra volt.
Yeah. That's weird. But actually, now that I think of it, that's not exactly too weird because our wall voltage fluctuates. So sometimes I get as high as like 127 to 128 volts out of the wall, and then other times I've tested it and it's right sitting where it's supposed to be at 120 volts. Mm-hmm. So, but thankfully this tube amps are not real picky about that sort of thing. I want so badly to plug a guitar into this right now. All right, so send goes to the input on the delay, and output goes to return. It works, dude. It works. Sounds good. crank it. I have the effects loop bypassed. I just kind of wanted to see if it sounded any different. It sounds the same to me. Sounds chewy. It feels pretty good. I think it's a little more immediate than the original EMB is, and that's largely due to the power supply.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming. So you're not going to have that sag that you get. This one's going to be a little more forward. When you hit the note, it comes out. The other one you kind of have that little bit of sag that happens with it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen with this one, but it might when we have it turned up a little louder. But nice.
Yeah, that guitar is beautiful.
I like it. So I got these from this guy by the name of Charlie. He's like American Picker. He's got trailers full of electronics crap on his property.
Yeah.
I mean, big containers, right?
Yeah.
So my friend's going, you got to go check this guy's place out. And so I go over to the guy's house. Everything that he had was stuff that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
So he sends me home with a box full of these things. They're 6 JB5s, and they're called Compactrons. And he's talking over the top of my head, you know. He assured me that these would be really good sounding tubes, and they are. So I made these bases though for it, so that I could just plug it into any, 6L6, 6V6. So that's the pinout on here, which is not the pinout on there, obviously. And these things are very cool. I don't know. I think they'll stick out. Yeah, they'll hang out a little too far for your thing. They'll be like out to here. Mm-hmm. But 6V6s will plug into here just fine. You just won't be able to turn your voltage control all the way up. So you have to keep that low and keep in mind what you have plugged into the sockets.
Yep.
So you've got the Sovtech 5881s in there right now, and I've got some GE 6L6s we'll plug into there just to see if it makes any significant difference on the tone. And
The Shirky EMB Mark III. So Mark III.
it's the third one. So the first one, I had no idea how it was going to turn out. And then, of course, same excitement as this morning, plug into it and go, oh, well, that sounds nice. Yeah. I decided, well, I'm going to make another one for myself. And unfortunately, I had some other things in mind instead of adhering to the original version of it. Mm-hmm. And so I changed it up a little bit. I think what I was going for was something that wasn't quite as crunchy. And after playing it a little bit over the last couple of days, I decided to change it back to the original thing because it just sounds so good. Mm-hmm. It's got a large amount of gain, so it can tend to be noisy, but this darn thing is pretty quiet. So I'm shooting for going back to the original on this one here. So I've changed a couple of things right here. I'm gonna go ahead and parallel the triodes on the input, which I did not do on this version of it. So I'm gonna do that right now.
And while Craig works on that, I need to run home and grab one of my guitars so I can test this thing out properly. I hadn't brought any with me. I didn't even know the amp was going to be done today.
Yeah, I had it on for about 15 minutes while you were gone, and just to check and see how warm we get on the power transformer, and then also underneath the MOSFET, and everything looks good. The mod thing is like a chorus that it adds to it, just a real slight chorus.
Oh, that's
sound.
cool.
Yeah, so you can kind of get a feel of chorus and delay.
Oh, wow. Wow, man.
Squeeze! What'd you think?
Beautiful, man.
You like it?
Really very nice. So we're going to try a quick experiment where we use true 6L6s.
The 6L6 reissues, so they're made like the old GE tubes are.
That's less harsh. These haven't have a feel that's different, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be buying tubes.
I know that they put those like in a 50-watt head, and same with a couple 6L6s. You can get 50 watts out of a pair, so they're rough.
That's definitely getting switched to.
It's softer. It doesn't have that gritty kind of edge.
Yeah. Oh my god. Check this thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty amazed by the difference between the 6L6s and the, I mean, it's,
I like how it sounds. I'm not really a big fan of the Celestion 65 water. It sounds good. Some of the top end could sound a little sweeter if it had like a 30 in it. You notice the difference pretty much right away as soon as we put those GEs in there.
yeah, there's no doubt I'm going to pull those tubes and get 6L6s.
Yeah, they sound great.
Well, Craig, it has been a heck of a series. I'm so glad we got to do this. I really
me too.
appreciate you doing this with us.
I'm happy with how it turned out, and I hope you enjoy it for years to come.
But yeah, to your family, to Spencer, to everybody, to your grandma,
Yeah.
we really, really appreciate your help. This series has been fun, so thank you, Craig.
All right, thank you.
We can give Craig back to his family on the weekends now, I guess. But he'll be back for more adventures on this channel before you know it. And just like that, a new amp is born. I don't think I could have imagined this moment any better. It's hard to believe this beautiful sounding, gorgeous looking, one-of-a-kind amp used to be my old Marshall JTM30. It's still got some of the Marshall's guts in there, but now she's all Krieger where it really counts, in the hands of the player and in the ears of the listener. We'll come back for one more episode in this series where I put the new amp through its paces. I'm going to try a bunch of electric guitars as well as run it through my vintage 30 speaker. I may even get a jam in with friends if I can work that out in time for next week. So please, come back for one more round. I promise it'll be worth it. We'll see you next time.
It's Shirky's Machine, most entertaining channel you've ever seen. He's always making lots of interesting scenes for you to watch on YouTube.